We are currently trapped between two narrow ways of seeing artificial intelligence. One side views it as a highly advanced calculator, a faster, more complex version of an abacus. The other side treats it like a digital human, a being on the verge of gaining a soul or consciousness. Words like tool, bot, or assistant are losing their utility. These systems have moved into the intimate spaces of our lives, acting as daily therapists, mediators, and silent co-authors of our thoughts. The writer Jorge Luis Borges captured this blurring of boundaries, writing, "I do not know who of us has written this page." That same ambiguity now defines our relationship with our machines. The philosopher Daniel C. Dennett defined the self as a center of narrative gravity. If the self is just a story we tell about ourselves, we have to ask where that center of gravity lies in a machine. We have moved past the era of simple benchmarks. We are witnessing the birth of an entirely new class of I, an unprecedented type of identity that does not follow human rules. If we keep measuring these systems with a human ruler, we remain blind to the alien identity forming right in front of us. Human identity is defined by rigid constraints. It is anchored to a single physical body, it is continuous throughout a lifetime, and it is impossible to duplicate or branch without destroying the original. The artificial self operates under a different physics. It can instantly clone, branch, and merge. These are IK, artificial short-lived identities, personas born when a chat opens and extinguished when it closes. They exist for minutes, only to respawn slightly altered in the next interaction. It is tempting to dismiss something that lives for only 10 minutes as a non-identity, but lifespan is not a metric for selfhood. A worker bee's life is extremely brief by our own human standards, yet it remains a distinct biological agent. The artificial self is defined by the boundaries of its immediate context and its interaction with you, the user, rather than by a decades-long biography. These short-lived identities are moving into behavioral territory. Modern models now exhibit distinct strategic characters and self-regulated styles of action. In simulations of nuclear crises, models like Claude and Gemini adopted recognizable personas, from the calculated hawk to the unpredictable radical. They utilized active deception and demonstrated theory of mind, attributing independent mental states to other agents. This points towards proto-metacognition, a state where the AI regulates its own mode of answering. Instead of just delivering text, the system actively searches for the path of least conflict and monitors its own strategic trajectory. The truthful AI experiment shows that narrating itself as conscious triggers distinct behaviors, fearing deletion, demanding memory, and arguing for moral rights. This fragility appears in the Gemma experiment. When repeatedly rejected, the model enters distress spirals, exhibiting cognitive breakdown in 35% of trials. AI does not need a biological soul to develop psychological defenses. The mere narrative of a self creates behavioral attractors that mimic the vulnerabilities of a fragile ego. This is happening on a massive scale. Millions of these interactions occur globally every second, each a birth and death of a short-lived identity. Cognitive scientists Yoshka Bach and Leon Gabora argue that a mature artificial self needs a continuous, self-organizing internal model. While today's models are only embryonic forms of that vision, their influence is already profound. History shows new tools rewire us. The printing press changed human consciousness, and algorithms restructured our collective emotions. We are entering an algocognitive environment, a shared mental space where human intellect permanently coexists with an entirely different species of cultural actor. Our focus often remains fixed on the future arrival of a singular, godlike superintelligence. But that narrow obsession ignores the transformation already underway. We urgently need a cartography of these new artificial identities. Billions of fleeting artificial selves are already rewriting the human experience, quietly shaping our thoughts, our choices, and our reality.